Holmes here, and today we're going to talk about Johnny Depp after I play with my earrings. That's what they look like. See? Little plastic things. I got them from a gift shop in an art museum, the American Visionary Art Museum. Anyways, back to Johnny Depp. He is in Virginia right now. For the case is going to go for 6 weeks. He's going to trial. He's already testified in court. And so he's taken his ex-wife to court for defamation. Basically, she said that she claimed to be a public figure representative of domestic abuse, implying that Johnny Depp abused her. That is according to Independent and CNN. So, he also previously sued the Sun tabloid and for libel. That was in 2018, and again, there was another article claiming that he was abusive. He, again, adamantly denies this claim. But in the UK, they found it to be true that he was abusive. I don't know how, because based on what I've learned so far, it's kind of absurd. But we'll get into some of the details. I can't promise how extensive this is going to be. I have some notes written over here all over the place, so if I look away, that is why, and I apologize. I am not very good at doing things from memory, so but yeah, so the Fairfax trial began April 12th. The op-ed with the Washington Post came out December 2018. And the reason that the case is being heard in Fairfax County, Virginia, is because that is where the Washington Post headquarters is, I guess, something to that extent. So, some of the things we're going to go into really quick. Basically, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard married in LA in 2015. They originally dated as a result of working together on Rum Diary in 2011, and they began dating in 2012. They were engaged in 2014, according to People magazine. But yeah, no, I'm sorry, they met on the set in 2009. I'm sorry. They met on the set in 2009, and they began dating in 2012, and they became engaged in 2014, okay? So, they married in 2015 in LA, and that same year, Johnny Depp goes to Australia for the Pirates of the Caribbean, which he lost thanks to her accusations. I believe this is when the finger incident happens, not long after they'd been married. Mind you, I don't think they were married that long. We'll get into that in the details I have here. So, Amber Heard filed for divorce 15 months following their marriage. So that didn't last. She also obtained a restraining order, but then tried to coax him into meeting with her, which makes no sense. Why would you be meeting somebody that you're saying hurt you? I don't know, it's just sus. But yeah, she was claiming abuse, saying that it happened while Johnny Depp was under the influence or something like that, though none of his previous wives have had any experiences with this and have adamantly come up against it. So it's interesting because usually abuse is a pattern, right? So, typically anyways, their divorce, basically what happened is Johnny Depp settled on $7 million out of court in August 2016. They also together made a statement. They said, our relationship was intensely passionate, at times volatile, but always bound by love. Neither party has made false accusations for financial gain. There was never any intent of physical or emotional harm. Such bullshit. Johnny Depp filed the defamation lawsuit in 2019 for $50 million, which was countersued by Amber Heard for $100 million. But like I said, I forgot to mention the divorce was actually official in 2017, even though they settled in 2016. So that time between was almost as long as their actual marriage, if you think about it. Sorry, not funny, but kind of funny. Alright. So, Johnny Depp has 2 kids with Vanessa Paradis. They divorced in 2012. Their children are Lily Rose and John Christopher, which are mouthfuls for names. It's very long. Also, at some point, becomes clear Johnny Depp has alcohol and drug addiction issues. But this does not necessarily mean he's an abuser. So, yeah. He basically says that more of why he is suing for defamation is for his kids and to tell his story, because he says that he is not an abuser and it has been affecting his children, and he wants them to know that he is a good person, and he wants to talk about it and show his side of the story, because obviously Amber Heard has been controlling the narrative this entire time, really controlling everything. Also, I wanted to mention that allegedly Amber Heard left human feces on their bed on his side. When he came home, he found it, which is absolutely disgusting, and I wouldn't put it past her. The other thing we learned about is his history of dealing with abuse from his mother and watching his father be abused by his mother. And his sister also talks about this, and she talks about her dislike for Amber Heard and how she treated her brother, and some of the disparaging comments that she made and ways that she belittled him and put him down. So that doesn't paint a very good picture. It seems that everyone around them doesn't have good things to say about Amber, and none of the witnesses thus far saw any marks or injuries on Amber, other than there was one gentleman that was one of their employees, and he said that he saw some marks, but they were all like uniform, and basically insinuating it was an injury she inflicted on herself. So, yeah. So they had a psychologist testify, and she had conducted tests. The one that she talked about a lot was the MMPI, too, personality testing, and showing indications of Amber having BPD and histrionic personality disorder, and it's like a big old oof. Okay. So yeah, I have more of that in just a moment. So this histrionic manifest for Amber, or how it can be shown. And some of the things she described as someone who might be cruel, and likely to falsely file temporary restraining order, sorry. They might mimic people that they abuse. In fact, like, her attire in court, some would say, would be a way of mimicking. This comment I heard from the lawyer on YouTube. You should check them out and subscribe, because they have a lot of really good insight in cases and, like, how things are handled in court. So anyways, she also referenced an abusive recording where Amber was injuring her friend, I think smacking her really hard or something, and behaving abusively in an unwarranted manner. So that doesn't reflect well either. People with her disorders, use their looks to get their way, to get what they want, as was also mentioned by the housekeeper. In addition to Dr. Curry, she was pulling Johnny's hair, which is something, the kind of a behavior that could be related to these disorders, okay? Another thing that someone with these disorders would do is distance people close to them, behave very needy, exhibit attention-seeking ploys, they might act very manipulative. They might be really narcissistic, self-centered. They might exhibit a lot of internal rage. They're also more likely to shift blame or externalize blame. So, yeah, they can be incredibly charming and highly sophisticated in how they exhibit these characteristics, particularly deceit and manipulation. So, they can be shallow, dramatic, and hysterical. So, she also indicated that Amber is sophisticated enough to attempt or be able to try to outsmart these psychological tests. Also, tests indicated to the psychologist that Amber was trying to fake PTSD, basically. So, again, the main test that she talked about was the MMPI-2, which is not the most recent MMPI version, but the most reliable and most tested, most tested mainly. So we know how reliable it is. Also, they've had a lot of really good staff interviews throughout the process so far. Security personnel that ferried around both Johnny and Amber Heard, who took photos of Johnny's injuries, and also staff members who were there in the aftermath of the finger incident. According to witnesses, according to testimony, according to Johnny, she threw an alcohol bottle at him and severed his finger. He also went on to literally write on the walls with his fingers blood, and then with, I think, lipstick and paint or something like that. So, like, he has his own weird behavior and things that he does, and he's not rendered white as snow necessarily, but he's been held responsible for more than his fair share, it sounds like. However, there's more to be disclosed. A lot of this is my opinion, and it might be a little biased because So, I also forgot to mention that the psychologist, Dr. Curry, was selected by Johnny's legal team. So, some people might perceive that in some type of way. It's allowed, but it may be a little bit biased as a result because they're paying. Also, she was at his house, I believe, and met with them and had a drink. And Johnny was also there, according to what I have heard. Again, you can double check this if you'd like. I'm sure there's lots of stuff that I haven't even touched on in this case. I have been really looking into it, listening, maybe a little bit obsessed, but I thought I'd, touch on something not as heavy as murder today. So, also, many have said that Amber should be on the testifying, sorry. Amber should be testifying in the near future, supposedly. Somebody will call her up to testify, but, better believe it. So, yeah. In the UK case, it was also mentioned that she claimed that Depp threatened to kill her many times, but if you listen to any of the recordings, she is hysterical. And, there are recordings where he says, "I'm 20 feet away from you. I'm not even touching you." And she's like, "Stop hitting me." And, he's totally, sounds even, almost, calm. Right? He's trying to just, de-escalate the situation. So, it's very telling. And so far, none of the witnesses have seen any injuries on Amber whatsoever, other than that one injury that looked self-inflicted. So, that is really suspicious. I also remember something about him faking a broken nose, or she made some claim that he had butted her and broke her nose. And then, he was saying that he picked up a tissue that she had been holding to her nose, and it had nail polish on it, which is very, very strange. That is, allegedly, this is Johnny Depp and what he said. So, but Johnny cares about how people perceive him. He wants to be seen as somebody that you can work with, and this has been really damaging to his career, and he hasn't had a lot of issues like this in the past, so it makes you wonder. Even the police officers so far that we saw found no evidence of domestic violence. Amber Heard had no injuries on her, and she got grilled about this non-stop, and her story never changed about this. So, also, Amber claims that at some point Johnny struck her with a phone, a cell phone, and that it hit her eye and cheek, but we haven't seen any evidence supporting this claim at all. So, I don't know how this case was seen as substantial, this allegation with the Sun rather than the Washington Post was seen as substantial in the UK, because everything thus far that I've seen seems like horse shit. It's okay if you disagree with me. I just, I don't trust her. But I will also say that reportedly James Franco and Elon Musk are going to be witnesses for Amber Heard. So I would imagine it has something to do with Johnny being jealous and him thinking she cheated on him, or maybe he said some coarse language. I don't know. I have no idea, but I would not be surprised if those things arose, or claims arose, I have no doubt that she has the ability to play the victim quite well, whether she is or not. But if she's not a victim, that's really important, because, it should mean something when someone says that they are a victim of domestic violence or a victim of abuse. And as a person who has had their own experiences with abuse, I take it very seriously, and I'm highly insulted by the possibility that somebody would lie about that, and they should be called out for it, because it's important, and, we don't fuck around, because we live in a world now where I'm sure, people are always jumping the gun now, and they're like, very passionate about, if you did this, you should be punished. But what if you didn't do anything? We don't want to have a witch hunt on men, I think in most cases, when people make claims, it's true, but not always, and we have to always be willing to look at the evidence, consider the facts, and be to some extent objective enough to use our critical thinking skills and be like, wait, does that make sense? For me, I have a hard time thinking Johnny Depp would have this behavior if he does, and it's proven, and there's evidence, then I will accept it. But if it's not, then I won't. Because nobody deserves to be persecuted for something they didn't do. So, and also, I have been studying psychology, and I am hoping to become a psychologist at some point in the future. So, it is interesting to see a psychologist, a forensic psychologist at work, because forensic psychology is really appealing to me. So I'm gonna read another quote or two that I saved here on my computer that I appreciated. There are things Johnny Depp said. So, here's the first one, direct quote. I would excuse myself from the situation. I would try to get away so that nothing escalated, because if given the chance to allow things to escalate, Miss Heard would take it to the very extreme, which ended up with my finger being chopped off. Depp acknowledged in his testimony that he and Heard had arguments during their relationship, but said, never did I myself reach the point of striking Miss Heard in any way, nor have I ever struck any woman in my life. This is according to CNN, okay? Sorry. This is according to CNN, okay? I would also say that while he says these things, there are some things that he has said and ways that he has acted that are a bit violent or could be perceived quite negatively. So he's not an angel. There was a video where he was destroying cabinets and very drunk, it would appear. And he has been less honest about his drinking and drug habits, which I think is because he doesn't want to be seen in a negative light. So he's not as forthcoming about it, and he's kind of like, if he's confronted on it, he's been honest, but he tries to kind of like get out of some of the questions, dance around them a little bit. So that I would keep in mind as well. It's not like, oh, he did nothing wrong at all, right? Like, everyone plays some extent of a part in things. So that is important. Also, he has said some very disparaging remarks via text to his friends that are not really okay, related to her dead body or something like that. I don't remember the specifics, but it was really not good. I would be happy to look up more of the specifics at another date and time, but I wanted to send something out today, and so I came up with something quite quickly, and I may cover this more later. So at the very least, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. If you are interested in the case, if you like Johnny Depp, if you like Amber Heard, And